Hey guys, I'm Greg Jones for Engine Builder Magazine, and as you can see, we're here at Cometic Gasket today, and I'm joined by owner Bob Gorman. Bob, thanks for having us out.
My pleasure. I'm glad you made the time to come out.
Absolutely. If you don't know, Cometic Gasket's in Painesville, Ohio, and Babcock's Media is in Akron, Ohio, so we're kind of in each other's backyards, and it's always nice to come up to visit. So we wanted to spend a couple minutes talking with Bob about, kind of how we got into this industry and how we built up the Cometic brand and what's going on with Cometic these days. So Bob, let's start there. I know you've been in the industry a long time, but what were kind of those early influences that first got you started?
Well, I've been in it longer than I want to admit to, but when I was fresh out of high school, I went to work for a company called Weisco Pistons. And I grew with the company. I went from manufacturing to warehouse to shipping to receiving and ended up getting involved on the strategy side of Weisco.
Okay.
And back in the day, and the great family of Bob Anderson, Tom Kipp, Doris Wiseman at the time, and they were very influential in grooming me and getting me to grow within the industry.
Yeah.
We were in primarily power sports, go-karting, and then we eventually evolved into automotive racing. One of my tasks at Weisco was to make the product line complete. And Weisco had built large pistons, big bore kits for the power sport industry.
Right.
We couldn't get gaskets. So they couldn't sell the pistons because we didn't have gaskets to assemble the engines.
Right.
And it was my job to put the deal together. And I started doing a little bit of research in the gasket business. And I said, I can do this myself. So I went down to the principal owners of Weisco with their blessing. And I said, I want to build engine gaskets for the piston business. And I did it part-time at night and still worked at Weisco. I stayed at Weisco almost 10 years.
Yeah.
As myself, a former partner, Greg Poe, and my wife, Bindi, ran Cometic. And we developed the concept of custom gaskets. Make what people want. Make what they have to buy.
Right.
And it literally exploded on us overnight. We went from 20 employees to 40 employees in 5.5 months.
Wow.
We went from 600 square feet to 2,500 square feet to 5,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet in 5 years.
Wow. And so what year was this that you first started?
That was about we opened in 1989, and that happened in about 1992.
Okay. And how long did you still stay at Weisco before you made Cometic?
I was there almost 10 years.
Okay.
Where I would go to work at Weisco and then make gaskets at night.
Do this as a side gig, yeah.
And we had a very unique concept, and what was interesting was when Dodge was launching their NASCAR program. One of the guys at Dodge ran mini sprints, and we were building them special gaskets for his mini sprints.
Yeah.
And he worked for Ray Evernham, and he called me one day and he says, "Hey, we got these open deck NASCAR motors and we can't seal them." And I said, "Could you make a gasket for this engine like you do on my motorcycle?" I said, "Yeah." So we made it. I drove it down there.
Yeah. And
put it on their dyno, and all the guys at Dodge and all that, and they said to me, "You think it's going to work?" I said, "I don't have a clue." I said, "I have no idea."
Yeah.
Well, eventually it worked. And at that point, we went from 0 NASCAR teams to 70% of the field in 5 months.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then it just kind of evolved.
Yeah, it kept going from there.
Yeah.
That's great.
Both my kids came on board, and that's really what made the change. Kristen came on board, and she graduated from U of M, an industrial design degree, and she got me organized on the media marketing side, which you work with Kristen quite a bit.
Yeah.
And my son graduated from Ohio University, and he was the one that really evolved in the manufacturing side. And today we sit on about 78,000 square feet We're looking at 30,000 square foot expansion. We work 24/7, 3 shifts.
Yeah.
And we do anything from OEM work to aftermarket to performance to R&D, everything.
Yeah.
Engine dynos, we do something I never thought we would see is we actually do validation for head gaskets for companies.
Okay.
And it's evolved into a pretty entertaining.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, you probably weren't seeing what it has become now when you first started it at night.
Never imagined.
Yeah.
Never imagined. But you can't do it by yourself. And people always tell me, well, how you do this, how you do that. And it's not me, it's our group.
Right.
It's our team.
Right. Certainly. Yeah. Having good people definitely helps. Now, Bob, you've had, Wiseco obviously was in Ohio, and Cometic here is still in Ohio. Has that been a great location for you guys? And
yeah, it really has been central. We aren't technically centrally located, but we ship quite a few packages a day. We have a partnership in Brisbane, Australia, serves the Australian market. We have a partnership in England that serves a lot of European market. We acquired a gasket company in Lake Havasu, Arizona, where we handle our marine division.
Okay.
In an exciting, expanding a little bit, we did an acquisition of Klotz Lubricants. It's been a 60-year-old oil company, and we acquired them last October. But most all the manufacturing on the Cometic side is based right here in Concord, Ohio.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Bob, you mentioned that in terms of the application and the type of gaskets you guys create, there's really no limit. But do you want to talk about, I know you guys do some stuff with O'Reilly's and AutoZone, more on the consumer side, and then you guys obviously have a really good customizable program for gaskets for the engine builders and the high performance guys looking to do, more of your one-off type stuff. Can you talk a little bit about both sides?
Yeah, on the custom side, one thing that we really take a lot of pride with at Cometic is, like I said, we've always focused as a customer being number one. And our custom side of our business is a big part of our business. And what I mean by that is a poor guy down the street, whether he's a hot rod guy working in his house, barely making ends meet, but his passion is hot rods. And he's got to put this motor together, and he needs a special gasket that's going to save him some money rather than redoing his engine block, redecking his heads or whatever. We'll build a custom gasket. And that's better than probably 35-40% of our business. And we do not in any way charge that poor man more than what we do a typical engine builder or high-end or NASCAR team or whatever. And that's always been our focus, is we care about the guy walking through our front door that's passion is his hot rod as much as we do making sure that Richard Childress Racing has the right product.
Absolutely.
And the custom side is a very important part of our business. It brought us to where we're at today. It's something we continually focus on. Our business has grown so much. We have analysts come in and they say, well, you need to automate, you need to automate, you need to automate. Well, we know that. But that takes away from
your ability to do some of the smaller stuff. Yeah.
So we're very labor intense. We focus on that. But the whole idea is we'll never change what got us here. 4, 5, 6 years ago, the retail market approached us. That's the O'Reilly's, the AutoZones. That's been a big part of our growth. We sat down and talked with them, and it was quite interesting because one thing we're loyal to our customers. We're loyal to the people who got us here. And I said to the folks at O'Reilly's, I said, hey, I don't want to lose the integrity or distribution or what we have set up currently. And they really re-educated me on the market, and they expressed to me that the people that walk through their doors are the people that aren't going to the segment that you're focusing on. And they're absolutely right. Our distribution has grown. The retail market has grown. Something that we're pretty unique within the gasket world is all segments, from go-karting to drag racing, to circle track racing, to power sports, side by side, boats. We do it all.
You mentioned diesel a little bit ago.
We're doing diesels as well.
Yeah.
We do a lot of 4-stroke outboards. We do 2-stroke outboards. Briggs and Stratton engines.
Right.
Across the board.
Everything and anything. Bob, like you've been saying, you guys have been doing anything and everything. You guys have been seeing some really great business, a lot of growth, even in the tough times in the last year or so. What's kind of on the horizon for Cometic? You mentioned Kristen and Jeff are all in and really excited about the company and where it's going, and as well as yourself. What does the next few years kind of look like?
Well, it's kind of what we're seeing now is it's exciting to be a part of what we are experiencing in the gasket world is the evolution of the change of the engines. Meaning, you went to a hot rod show and everyone was in a big block, a small block, big block Ford. Now you're seeing the traditions of the Hemis, and you're seeing the traditions of the EcoBoost motors and the LS engines. And one thing that is challenging for us is the fuel technology, the economy, the fact that people are aware that 25 years ago you didn't have a catalytic converter on your hot rod. Now you got a catalytic converter on your hot rod, and you have to pay attention. And the thing that we see from our business is we actually see the passionate of these young kids that were import kids that are now wanting to be passionate and continue their enthusiasm, and it's falling into the plates of the LS engines, the EcoBoost motors, the Hemi motors, where they have the computer technology. It's a lot more detail than just pulling the head off, putting a bigger piston in it, and sending a guy down the road.
Right. Yeah, there's certainly a number of things involved in making horsepower these days, and it's cool to see the evolution, like you said. Whether it's something just on the gasket side or the overall engine.
Put a chip in it and go faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, very good. Well, Bob, I appreciate you giving us some of your time and talking about kind of how you got into all this and how you built it and where it's going. It's certainly exciting, and thanks for sharing it.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.